Hey guys, welcome back to the show. My name is Muhhamad Musah. This is the callback segment, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Adeola Fayehun.
Thank you, Muhammad. How is you?
I'm good, I'm good. So the number to call back is 917-284-9811. And what's our question of the day, Adeola?
Yeah, definitely. And before we even take the phone calls and read what people have been saying, I'd like to hear your view about our question of the day. And the very first one is about the U.S. President Obama visiting Africa very recently. So Obama told heads of state, African heads of state at the African Union that they should respect constitutional term limits and not extend their reign of power. Do you support President Obama's statement?
So I obviously support President Obama's statement as an advocate of democracy.
You're from Africa, right? Which country?
I was born in Ghana, but I've grown up in the United States, and just like Ghana and the United States are both like great democracies, and I think what he said was very smart. He talked about the fact that he's a young leader, and like if he wanted, he could have ran for a third term. But he didn't.
That's a discussion for another day, because he said he would win. Some people are saying, will he not? But that's for another day.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, I think he would have won. I would have voted for him. I wish President Obama could be president for life, but that would be problematic.
I think I would vote for him as well. So.
Yeah.
So, but what about the fact that there are so many African leaders, though, that are really clinging on to power? We have leaders that have been in power for 30-something years. I know the president of Cameroon has been in power for more than 30 years. President of Zimbabwe, 35 years. I mean, people like that, do you think they pay any attention to Obama? Does it mean anything coming from Obama?
Well, I think it's definitely like a big thing that, this is the first time that a United States president is speaking to the AU. And I think, every leader must have been listening to that. So whether or not they're going to like implement what he said is another story. And like these guys are hard-headed, like you said, Mugabe, 35. You know a lot about Robert Mugabe. 35 years in prison.
Yeah,
I mean, as the president.
Yeah, that's what I meant by does it really mean anything? Even though it's coming from Obama, I really hope the African leaders would do this. I feel like Africa will actually develop if we give more people the chance to rule. And I'm hoping that people will call in. Don't forget the number is 917-284-9811.
Yep.
So I'm going to read some of what people have been saying. And the first comment is from Ofofo and Yinsan Samson. And he's saying that the same question should be thrown to Obama. The U.S., are they respecting nations' constitutional rights? What do you think about that?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, every nation has the right to build their own framework, but I feel like there comes a point when the people have a voice. And I think that's the best thing about what a democracy does. Like, it gives everyone a voice. Like, it gives journalists the ability to like tell everybody what's going on in the country. It's not just voting, it's not just term limits, it's like everything. So I mean, our viewer like brings up a great point, but at the same time, I think that we need to take into account like what are the these are the views of leaders, but what are the views of like the people?
Exactly. I feel like this viewer was trying to say that what about America? Like, it's some people feel like America likes to tell people what to do. That is America respecting the constitutional rights of other countries as well. He may have a point, but I feel like the one thing that America has done is take care of their own people. And we still have like gun violence and stuff in America, but when it comes to basic amenities, America has taken care of this. So many of these countries in Africa, they don't really care about their people. They've not really taken care of the basic amenities. So for me, to me, it's not an issue whether America respects other countries. I mean, it is in a way, but I feel like America sort of earned the right to say this because they take care of their own people, and even people that are not from their country. We are all here, and we enjoy security, running water, electricity, just the basic things.
Exactly.
So, anyway, the next person is Justice Lana, and he said that Obama made a reasonable argument, though, that he agrees with him.
Yeah, I mean,
same as you.
I'm on that boat. I mean, he's just saying things that, you know, African leaders really need to hear.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm glad that Obama said that, because, you know, who else will say this to them?
Yeah.
And Hussein Kasim is on the same page. He said he's in support 100%. And Femi Salako said something really funny. He said we should ask Obasanjo. Do you know the story of Obasanjo wanting to do third term?
Yeah, and like, you know.
So I feel like that's why he wants us to ask.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Right. We need people to call in. You guys should call in.
Yeah.
917-284-9811. Mohammed needs your call.
Yeah, I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this.
Okay, so Isa Yaro said he totally disagree. I just wish he would say why. He just said, I totally disagree.
I mean, I wish he could kind of expound on that.
And if he's from Nigeria, which it sounds like he's Nigerian, he would not agree to third term for any president. But he's saying he totally disagree with Obama.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I mean, you know, like, you can kind of look at the situation in Rwanda with Paul Kagame, you know, and, you know, him being allowed to run for a third term.
I know, but do the people really have a say in Kagame's issue?
The people don't really have a say, but at the same time, they're being taken care of. You know, the economy in Rwanda is one of the best in Africa. And, you know, like, that allows you to, you know, create your own framework. So if you're taking care of your people, then I understand. And
the issue of Kagame has brought a lot of debate. A lot of people are saying that maybe not all African countries need democracy, because in Rwanda, for example, things are getting better with Kagame in power. So they're saying maybe we don't need democracy in Africa. Hey. Yeah. But I'm going to read the next one. Is from Mohammed Nasser Abdullahi, and he says, I agree with the U.S. President Obama. Most African leaders choose to be egocentric over the principles of rule of law, and such in teaching is very wrong, because from the day that they choose to start breaking the law as stipulated in the constitution of the country in regards to their time limits in office, they become their own worst due to absence of discipline. He's probably saying their own worst enemy, due to absence of discipline and lack of will to sacrifice. I totally agree with that. If there's a term limit and the president is the one crossing the line, then you can really discipline anybody else for, you know, breaking the law, because the president himself has broken the law. Yeah,
no, I really think there's a problem with, you know, the way we look at our presidents in Africa. Like, we think they're chiefs. Kind of like they have like autonomy over everything.
They're like gods.
Yeah, like
little gods.
Yeah, and like the executive just has way too much power in a lot of our constitutions. So, you know, it's something that we need to look into. But we really want to hear your views. 917-284-9811. Yeah. So I'm going to read just one more answer to that one. And then right after that, we'll go into the second question of the day. This one, I thought it's a bit funny. But a lot of Africans actually have this view. This is coming from Danny Bliss, and he said, how can I support a gay president? Oh, come on. How can I support a gay president? That is insane. I mean, why President Obama is not gay? How do you know? I mean, what do you think? I mean, I don't, you know. How do you know? I just think that's completely unfair, and like I think that you know, too much is made of that topic. Oh, we have a caller. Yeah, we have a caller. Caller, you're live. Please go ahead.
Hey, Adeola, how are you doing?
Good, and you?
I'm very well, thank you. Just my 2 cents on term limits. I actually think term limits could be a hindrance than anything else. I think what's the main crux of the matter is that you have credible elections. If you have a very, very good president that's doing very well, then he should be allowed to continue if the people so wish. The key to avoid is where you have certain presidents that are not doing well or the people don't like, and then the democratic process doesn't work to allow you to get rid of them. I think that's the big issue. And once you have a good, credible democratic process that actually works, then it shouldn't really matter. And one example you can have is if you look at Nigeria, Nigeria was doing very well between 1999 and 2007. The term limits actually operated to hinder that movement forward, and then we had a succession of leaders that took things forward and backwards, to the extent that the current president is now in a situation where he was in 1983, where he's taken over from a bankrupt country. So, in a nutshell, I agree that, well, I don't agree with Obama that there should be term limits, but I do think there needs to be a credible electoral process that allows people to choose the best of the people at any particular moment in time.
Thank you very much.
What
do you think?
I mean, those are astute points from the other side, and you know,
it's both sides. You know?
No, it's great to have this debate, and it's, you know, I think that I wonder what the point is where, like, you know, you get to that fourth term and you're still doing well, and like, you know, it's 16 years in leadership. Like, when do you? Like, even if, you know, the people are being taken care of, like, there has to be some kind of jaded view of the way that you're leading the country. And, like, I think that's where the problem comes in, and that's where, you know, Obama thinks that, you know, term limits are essential. You know, if you continue to see that you're the only person that is good enough to lead the country, then, you know, what is, you know, what are you doing in terms of developing people for the future?
You totally just, you know, you read my mind, because I feel like I don't believe that only one person can do this job. I don't. I believe that so many people would do well if only, but we won't know unless they're given the chance. I feel like some people have done well, but it's because someone gave them the chance. If we don't give people the chance, and I honestly don't believe that 2 terms is not enough. I feel like even 1 term is enough for someone to prove that they're able and capable of doing a great job. If you can do something tangible in 4 years, and then you run again and you're still saying that you're still laying foundation in 8 years, so when exactly will you do something? I mean, someone like Nelson Mandela only ran 1 term. So many people have done great things, and they did maybe 1 or 2 terms. So I honestly, I don't support that. Oh, 2 terms is too short. But we have another caller. Caller, you're live. Please go ahead.
Hello, Adeola, how are you?
Okay. Hi.
Yeah, really, I support what Obama said. I think it's an African thing, you know, to want to just sit put. When we're in a place of, or in a position of authority, we just want to just stay there and not minding what the effect is on people. Why would anybody want to rule and continue to rule over and over again? Is it that there are no other people that are capable of doing better, or even, you know, much more? I think it's really stupid and very irresponsible of African leaders to want to just perpetuate themselves, you know, in power. I think, I mean, there is a constitution, okay, and there are so many people in Africa that can do much better. So why doesn't somebody, once your time is up, then gladly just, you know, leave and be thankful that you were given that opportunity to serve in the first place? So I'm in full support with what President Obama has said.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It's either we follow the Constitution or we don't have it in the Constitution at all. If it's in the Constitution, well, if we won't follow it, then we should take it out and not call it democracy. But if you're calling it democracy, be democratic in terms of sharing as well. So unless you're like a traditional ruler and Oba, you know, that's different. Everybody knows that. But if you're not going to be that, then when it's time for somebody else to come in, just move it.
I don't even understand why people want the burden of leadership for, like,
you think it's a
such
burden.
a long. It is a burden to run the whole country.
Yeah, but a lot of things come with it. Power, you know, and the saying goes that power corrupts. The saying goes, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So, the second question of the day, we've been asking viewers recently, Sahara reporters discovered that Senator Dino Malay has a house in Maitama, Abuja that is worth how much?
$6.5 million.
Dollars. Not naira.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. But oh my God, $6.5 million? Like even here in the U.S., I don't think you need a $6 million house. Not to talk about Nigeria. Okay. So, and then the question is, Senator Dino Malay told Sahara reporters that he should not be forced to discuss his wealth or properties with the media because he is a distinguished member of the federal government. I guess this happened when Sahara reporters was reporting that story about his house, and they called him to verify it, and he said he doesn't have any obligation to discuss this. So the question is, should the EFCC investigate government officials who live suspiciously outside their means? What do you think?
You know, that's a sticky situation because people have businesses. People, you know, are, you know, not just politicians. You can be a politician and still have things that you do on the side.
Of course.
We saw, you know, Dick Cheney was the head of Halliburton, or one of the executives of Halliburton, and that's, you know, that's a lot of money. So, like, you know, it really depends on the politician and like what their background is. If Dino Malay, you know, claims to have, you know, all these companies and things, you know, like he could have, you know, accumulated that wealth through a certain means. So
I guess the problem is these people don't really declare their assets.
Yeah.
So we don't really know, like what you're saying now about other businesses. I wish, like here, officials in positions like this, they would declare their assets. So it's not really a matter of question. It's, well, oh, he's wealthy, as he is. Like the former mayor of New York, Bloomberg, he's really wealthy. I think he was only getting $1.
Yeah, he did a $1 salary voluntarily.
Yeah, because he's a billionaire or millionaire?
Billionaire, yeah.
He's a billionaire. So everybody knows that because he declared his assets. Hey, we have a new caller. Caller, you're live. Please go ahead. Hello?
Hello, caller.
Hi, caller. Okay. They will let us know when we have him. Anyway, so the problem is these people don't declare their assets. That's why it's like, wait a minute, how can he afford this, you know? But again, $6 million house. Oh wow, dollar. That's not even.
I mean, we can kind of talk about, like, you know, what was in his. He has an indoor pool in his house.
Wow.
Like,
inside the house.
Yeah, inside the house. And there's, you know, all these ornate Roman, you know, columns, and just beautiful, beautiful in Abuja, the nation's capital. Yeah. You know, like. Okay, we have a caller.
Caller, you're live. Please go ahead.
Adeola, how are you?
Good, and you?
I'm doing good, darling. How's everything?
Good. And this is Muhammad is here with me as well.
Hi.
Yeah, Muhammad, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for calling.
That's wonderful. Okay, so on the issue of Dino Malay, I think we as a country and as a nation should ask ourselves a very, very deep-hearted question. Why is it that all of a sudden we now tolerate everything? There is nothing bad again about stealing. There is nothing bad again taking from what belongs to the people. Dino Malay, I remember he championed an anti-corruption non-profit organization that at a point everybody started singing Kumba songs and praises for this guy. Okay? I don't care whatever he did to get such $1 million, to buy such a house. Probably, I don't think the house is up to maybe like 6-point-something million. But no matter what it is, we have consistently seen Dino Malay kind of shifted almost 360 from the Dino Malay we saw a few months ago. Why would this guy get to the Senate? At the first place, you escorted the wife of the Senate president with other senators and House members to the EFCC. That is an embarrassment to the country, not even to the Senate as an institution. It's an embarrassment to all of us, right? Because you are not the judge, neither are you a jury. Now, secondly, you have this big mansion. I think he should be questioned. I think the time has come when
elected officials, senators, governors, if you are living above your means, you are answerable to us. It is your obligation to let us know what you are doing. If you are a drug peddler, you shouldn't be a part of the government. If you are a ritualist, you should not be part of the government. But all of a sudden, it seems like we've just let things loose. Everybody does. Everybody is the piper, and they dictate the tone. And you can hear Malay tell you, what the hell can you do after all? I'm a senator of the Federal Republic. What the hell can you do? I've already been elected. This is just an insult on the intelligence of our collective Nigerianism, and it is wrong. It should be condemned, and he should be ashamed of himself. He should be ashamed of himself.
Thank you so much. I love it.
Yeah.
This is a shame on the collective Nigerianism. I love every single word that he said. The guy has changed. No, seriously, he has. And I remember when the wardrobe allowance issue came up, Dino Malay was saying that he would return his own allowance or something. I don't remember. But he was trying to be on the people's side. But now, when Rudolph interviewed him last week, he said he's been paid his first salary, 1.4 million naira. That's just the salary. And Rudolph was like, do you feel like you've earned that? Like, can you justify that? Because they've been on holiday, like, most of the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, exactly what have they done? Yet they got paid the 1.4 million. They've been on holiday for weeks. Yet he got paid the 1.4 million, and that's just the salary, not just him, every single one of them. And the allowances are more than the salary itself. So, but I still don't know how that added up to this $6 million house.
Yeah, we really need to ask him what he does. And I think the caller also made a great point, saying that, you know, why is Dino Malay escorting the wife of Bukola Saraki to the EFCC?
That is interesting.
It angers me every time I see, you know, these politicians smiling, you know, before their EFCC hearings.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm above the law. Nothing's going to happen
Exactly.
to me.
Like nothing would happen kind of attitude. I'm going to read some of the responses that we have on Facebook regarding this question. Should EFCC probe people that are living suspiciously above their means? And we have another caller before I do that. Caller, you're live. Please go ahead.
Yes. Good evening. It's evening here in Sweden. I wanted to make a comment about the Dilo Malay saga.
Yeah.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah. In Nigeria, for example, we don't ask the right questions. And we must begin to ask the right question. And the right question is, it doesn't matter whether Dino Malay bought a house for $1 million or $2 million or $6.5 million. The question is, where is the source of money? Where is his last tax return? 2-3 year tax return. How much tax did he pay? What is his source of income? Where did the money come from? And when you buy a house, there is supposed to be a line registry. You're supposed to know how much he paid for. Is this guy engaged in money laundering? For example, we don't even ask the question. We know that elections are very expensive in Nigeria. How did this guy get the money to contest for the Senate and to run for the Senate? Was it anybody donated money to his campaign? Where did the money come from? So now we can hazard some guesses. If he is following Mrs. Saraki to EFCC, could it be that this guy was actually sponsored by the Saraki? Even if you look at this, Bukola Saraki himself, who is Senate president, what has been his business? We know that he's a trained medical doctor. Apart from being a governor, has he ever practiced medicine for one day? What does he do? Where did he get the money from? Where is the money coming from? Until we begin to ask people, where did your money come from? The money that you are spending, and hold them accountable. It don't matter who you are. Then we're going nowhere. We're going nowhere. Chase the money. You will see where the crime is coming from, and you will be able to put people in check. If you don't have this, you're wasting your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I like that. Like, this story goes beyond just the house. Even before he became a senator, how did he get the money to run as a senator?
Yeah, we really need to ask that question.
I think we're running behind, so let me just read some of our answers for that question. The first one is from John Ben, and he said, yes, the EFCC should, investigate these people, including someone like Tinubu, who owns 2 5-star hotels, 2 state-of-the-art private jets, First Nation Airlines, TV Continental, Vintage Publishers, Alpha Beta Consult, that is the revenue agent of most states in Southwest, of which it collects 10% of the tax.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of people need to be investigated, my brother.
Yes.
But I read that because a lot of people think that when it comes to Tinubu, that SaharaTV doesn't talk about Tinubu. It's not true. The second one is by Said Lore Sunkami, and he said, yes, especially this guy, Dino Melaye. And Ismaila Akani said, the guy, Dino Melaye, is not a distinguished rogue. What do you have to say about that?
Wow.
People used to respect him, actually. Like,
I mean, no, it's very crazy. It's interesting what, you know, power does to you. But before I go into that, we have a new caller.
All right. Caller, you're live. Please go ahead.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Good.
Great.
Yeah, my name is Segun. I think one of the problems I have with Nigerians is that they have a very short memory. Yeah. If I don't think what the attitude that Dino Melaye is exhibiting should be a surprise to Nigerians. If you remember when he was a member of the House of Rep, you should, if you can recall, the role he played when how he supported Patricia Ete before she was impeached. Also, the role he played about Farouk Lawan. Dino Melaye has always been associating himself with questionable characters in the Nigerian polity. And suddenly when he came out championing anti-corruption campaign and all of that, I was really surprised. I saw him attending the Chibok girls sitting and all of that. I was like, what is going on? This guy he's full of gimmicks. He was only doing those things to keep himself busy. You understand? How can you expect someone like Dino Melaye to go to the National Assembly and work on reduction of their salaries? How is that possible? And how can you expect someone like Bukola Saraki to fight corruption in the National Assembly? These guys are Dino Melaye is a full-time guy man. You understand?
Wow.
Look at his lifestyle. Look at his lifestyle. Look at his cars. Look at his expensive house and everything. How do you expect someone like that to fight corruption? Tell me, how is that possible?
Thank you so much.
So I really don't blame him. I blame Nigerians for being so gullible to believe such character. Dino Melaye is just an APC version of Femi Fani-Kayode. As a matter of fact, Femi Fani-Kayode is better than him.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. What do you think about what he said? No, for real?
Those...
I completely agree with him.
Yeah,
the guy has changed.
I mean, so one thing I will say is that, you know, even for someone who might be a good politician, I'm not saying that Dino Melaye is a good politician, but if you're in a swarm of bad bees, you're gonna be a bad bee.
I see what you mean. And we have another caller before I read this. Caller, your life, please go ahead. Oh, okay, we don't. So I'm going to read this quickly. This is from Sadiq Gaba, and he said, well, for being distinguished member of the federal government is what actually makes Dino Melaye more accountable to Nigerians. You know, he said, I'm a distinguished member. That's what should make him, I totally agree with this. Because he's now a government official, he should be more accountable. He said, I'm really perplexed with the mentality of Senator Dino just when he became a senator as against the Comrade Dino that we knew before. People used to call him Comrade Melaye, you know. This is Nigeria where one fights to join the queue of the distinguished mismanagers. I totally believe that a 2-month-old senator coming up with multi-million-dollar house in this era of change must be investigated. Please, they should start with the distinguished Senator Dino Melaye, the distinguished bodyguard.
Oh, wow.
Now people call him the distinguished bodyguard. Oh, my God, my God. But the last caller said something very important. I feel like we don't know the relationship between him and Saraki. You just never know. Maybe he had to go. Maybe Saraki had something to do with him becoming a senator. We don't know.
Yeah, no, it's...
So maybe he owes Saraki something.
Yeah, he owes Saraki something, and he is the spokesman.
We don't know. We're not saying he does, but maybe, because why would he go? Why would he be there?
Yeah, and now he's the spokesman of the Senate. So that, you know, it's all a game. it's like, you know, the more...
It's all a game, right? And they're playing a game with our own money, you know? And the last comment that I would read is from Al-Hassan Mukhtar, and he said, why not? Why shouldn't the EFCC, you know, investigate them? Once he is implicated, though, he should face the law. And we have one more caller. Caller, you're live. Please go ahead.
Hello, Adeola.
Hi.
I'm Mohammed.
Hey.
Yeah, this is Akin speaking from Australia.
Oh, wow.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, thank you
Wonderful.
for calling.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. I watched the last interview with Dino Malay and Rudolph, and it was kind of amusing to me the way he was responding to the question. I feel someone who has been championing human rights stuff.
Protests.
Yeah, for a long time. I feel it's just ethical. He doesn't need to be asked to tell us how he got his money and how he got money to buy his house and all that. He's not mandated to do that, but I feel if I'm in the position and I've been the one championing things like that in recent time in court, you don't need to ask me questions about how I got my wealth. I will be the one to tell the world that, oh, I am not using the government money to buy a house in Abuja or a Lamborghini or sort. But the second thing is that I feel we Nigerians should not just talk about one person, just Dino Melaye or one person like Bukola. I feel we should look for a way to strengthen our constitution, because if we strengthen our constitution, because there is absence of major consequence, because if someone steals money and he just go to jail for just 2 years, I feel if I steal $1 billion and I go to jail for 2 years, I will go. And after coming out, I'm going to come back and spend my 600 million or 1 billion.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
So if the minimum jail term is like 10 years or 15 years in prison for just playing 2 million naira or 5 million naira,
wow,
and you are going to go to jail for 15 years. You know, in China, they prosecute, the capital punishment is for stealing. But in Nigeria, it's been a long time. We used to hear million, but now we are hearing billions. And
no, dollars, not just billion, but billion dollars.
You know, we Nigerians are just sitting down, and all what we just do is to come online and we make comments. We are not really strengthening. You know, it's so sad. It's pathetic, man. You know, the second time I sent a mail to Rudolph the other time, but he doesn't read my comments. I said, look at the inauguration. I live in Australia, and I see the military chiefs. They use rugged military vehicles, but our army chiefs are using BMWs, 7 Series. They are holding umbrellas. You know, I went to Nigerian Navy Secondary School at Abeokuta. I can't imagine military officers having escorts, having people who hold umbrellas for them. You know, it's sad when you see things like that. Because when you're in the army, I feel you are rugged. You don't need comfort of a bank MD or comfort of
Thank you so much.
Oil chief. Thank you very much.
I completely agree with
for
him.
army chiefs I feel is an insult on Nigeria and the Western media, because I live in Australia and I see the way they look at Africa. You can't come to a Western country to beg for money and you are living a comfortable life. Our army chiefs are using 7 Series.
Thank you so much.
You know,
sorry we have to round up because of time, but I completely agree with him that if I steal 2 billion, you only have to go to jail for 2 years, you would do it because
go
you're
ahead.
like, oh, it's, you know, it will pay off $1 billion.
Yeah, I'll hold my money somewhere. Like, it's fine.
No, you will not do that because you're an innocent person, and you know you would never.
And I'm a Ghanaian. We only do millions.
All right. Anyway, I think that's the end of our callback segment today. We really appreciate those of you that called in. We'll see you again at the same time next time. Next week, I mean. But thank you so much, Mohammed, you know, for all your input on those questions. And you guys can still put in your answers on our Facebook page, Twitter page, and, you know, our social media, all our social media platforms. So we'll see you guys same time next week.
Bye, guys.